So I'm actually reading this new manga called Bill King. It was actually created by the same artist who create Toriko. So here is the review on the first chapter of Bill King, which this chapter actually begins on the series where we see the Dragon's King's Palace, which is called the Devil Castle, and the Org Island Fortress, then the Prince of the Sky, which all of these buildings were actually created by a builder. Then the carpenter actually have taken on every demanding task that he actually made plans for. So it's kind of like a construction site themed manga, but we actually gonna see our protagonist, I mean our heroes, where it all begins in an island called Hammer Island, where we actually knew that humans are actually in this rather particular island. There, they actually saw a house being built by a young man whose name Tonkachi, who is the carpenter, and he actually excited to build his home, by which we seen the monsters actually arrive trying to destroy his house. But it actually was rock solid. Or so it seems, because the monster has destroyed the house by using wind attack on the house, blowing it away. But now we've seen the other hero named Renga, who is also a carpenter as well, which he actually saw Tenkachi begging him for help, which they're actually brothers. So now we actually see how his house actually was built, but we actually seen that the vehicle that he was actually riding in is actually his house. So his house is actually glamorous, but knowing him, he actually tried to build something that he wants to build, which is a perfect house. In which, when they were actually kids, a master carpenter named Shovel actually trained them as as his apprentices and make them build their own houses so they can live there. By which they actually say that these structures in ancient times were actually created, by which the giant mountain ridge, which called the dark castle, falling on the magma, and the golden hotel in the seas and of the sky, and the underworld prison, which where the criminals are actually there, where they actually say that the legendary structures are actually created to which they survive number of natural disasters, which could have actually destroyed the entire world. And he also said that no one knew the details of their builds, when or who actually built them, or how they actually are really there. But they actually say that the buildings are also known as the Build Kings, in which we actually knew that Tonkachi and Rinka are actually or learning how to build houses. But knowing that Tenkachi actually wanted to build his own house one day, we actually knew that a creature is on his way to actually stop him. Which, of course, we actually see how Renka actually trying to find materials for a new house, which it actually said that Hammer Island is actually the center of a giant typhoon, which we knew that violent storms, huge earthquakes and volcanoes are going to be found on that island, in which we knew that Tonkachi is the only ones that are in the island. But we actually see how they stop the monsters of blowing away their homes, which we seen Shovel build a cage to stop this creature from hurting him. I mean, for hurting them. But throughout the time, they actually knew how they helping him build houses in which they wanted to build houses just like Shovel did, becoming a master carpenter as well. But we saw citizens actually came to warn Renka about a house eater getting ready to set sight on the house, which he told the citizens to step inside his home. But we saw Tenkachi actually is actually trying to figure out what he can do, even though he actually told the other citizens to call him master, by which they actually knew that he's not a master yet. But we actually heard that someone actually is warning him about the house eater get ready to get ready to set his sights on the house, which Tenkachi actually draw out his hammer and get ready to fight as well. But we knew that he's about to use a material to actually build something that he wants to build. But he actually found Renka actually was destroyed, which his house was destroyed as well. But we knew that the house eater is actually there, which we actually knew that he actually saw Renka actually shedding tears, saying that he's a failure of a carpenter, but knowing that he actually did his best. So now he actually will take on the house eater himself, which Tenkachi is about to use his strength to actually stop his punch, which we actually see him building a house, but at the same time using his hammer to battle the house eater, which we seen him using his strength to push the house eater back, then actually get ready to build a house, which we seen the other monsters as well. But we seen how he actually extend his hammer and get ready for the final attack, which is the 10 meter Volger hammer on the house eater, and he actually defeating him. But we saw Renka actually knew that he always stay over because he's actually worried about him. But he actually knew that Tinkashi is his older brother. But we actually knew that the house eater was apologizing, which he can actually talks. But now we actually see the citizens actually get ready to thanking him, but he always wanted to ask Renka about building them new houses for him, by which we actually knew that Shovel is actually waiting for them, which means that they were getting ready to set their goals on becoming build kings as well. So we're going to see what's going to happen next. So we actually knew that this is actually a construction themed manga series, which I actually love the two characters, Tinkachi and Renka, as they set out to become the next Bill King, which is a legendary warrior who used construction tools to build houses, but also defeating monsters who will destroy houses. So this is actually a really good manga series to enjoy, and I cannot wait to see what's going to happen on the next chapter next weekend. So anyway, like this video, subscribe for more, and comment what you think about the manga chapter of the first chapter. And you guys can also follow me on Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, and my Facebook page. Until then, this is Anime God Journey here saying sign out. Laters and be safe.